What is up, girl? Welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Maya and I'm so excited to sit down with you and chat. We have a new series alert. When I say I've been hitting y'all back to back with a new series, I kid you not, the Lord has been downloading things in me. And I feel like this was the year where I really lived out so much. Like, I know the year's not even over, but this definitely was a important year for me. I grew a lot, I learned a lot, which is why I feel like I'm just ready to tell you guys everything that I've learned and everything that has helped not only me, but also my family thrive. We're getting into the new series called the Holy Household series. This series is all about how to manage a fruitful home, how to steward your time, steward your finances, disciple your children, and really just create a beautiful home that honors the Lord above everything else. This has been my year of reading, and I was never a reader. And this is why I know the power of habits are real, because I have fell in love, not so much with reading, but with audiobooks. And it makes sense, right? Because I love to listen to podcasts. So God was like, listen, I know your schedule's a little crazy, but I want you to value knowledge. So turn on an audiobook when you can. And I kid you not, in the past 2 months, I have gone through 7 audiobooks, so I got a lot of knowledge to give y'all. So I'm super excited to hop right into this series. If you're new, make sure to hit that subscribe button and my bell so you can stay updated on all of my weekly posts. So I'm super excited to hop into all of these tips on how to manage a fruitful home. A little side note here, I have been sipping on my mud water coffee alternative, and let me just say this. Okay, side note, we're gonna derail for a second, but listen, I've gone on a 30-day no refined sugar challenge that has actually started today. Yes, today. And my mud water package came in just in time, because that was the main thing I was struggling with. I was like, okay, I can get rid of the sweet treats, but coffee, I love my sweet coffee. So how is that going to work? I was not a believer in coffee alternatives. I was like, listen, you ain't about to fool me. Like, I want my coffee, I want my caffeine. But then I also noticed like the dependency that I had on caffeine. Not only the dependency, but the crashes. Oh my goodness. The insane crashes I had from caffeine. With that in mind, I wanted to find something as an alternative to coffee for these next 30 days as I'm weaning out of sugar. And maybe this will also encourage me to just stop caffeine in general. I'm not making no promises, but I definitely want to challenge myself in this next month. So a huge shout out to Mudwater for actually sponsoring today's video. This is Mudwater, which is a coffee alternative. It's made with organic cocoa, masala chai, and functional mushrooms. And I can say, on top of it being very healthy, it is also enjoyable to drink, which is the biggest thing when it comes to coffee alternatives. Like, I don't want something that tastes like dirt. Like I said, caffeine was just making me way too jittery and the crashes were too much to bear. So I'm very excited to see how this plays out for me over the next 30 days. I had my first cup today and I can already tell you the energy is up. I feel really good and I don't have those annoying, anxious jitters that I usually would have with coffee. I prepared myself a really cute and fall-esque chai latte today. I didn't add any sweeteners, but you can if you like super sweet coffee. I personally think it tastes great without it, and there's actually 0 grams of added sugar in here, so this is perfect for my no sugar month. It's got lion's mane for focus, cordyceps for natural energy, and reishi and chaga to support immunity. And Mudwater only has 35 grams of caffeine per serving, unlike regular espresso shots that have anywhere from 90 to 100 milligrams per serving. So it's a fraction of the caffeine and you still get that energy without the crash. Now is the time to make the switch to Mudwater. You can scan the QR code on my screen or head to the link in my description to get the Mudwater starter kit, which also gives you a free frother, and the frother is nice. It is such a great value and you'll also get an additional $20 off. Time to hop right into these tips. Now, all of these tips either have come from books I've read, older women in the faith, or things that I practice on a regular basis, or all of the above. So let's get right into it. Tip number 1, which I think is most important, and that is to lead from fruit and not the flesh. What is the fruit? Well, let's go to Galatians 5. What are we at? Galatians 5:22. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. control. I have tried it, okay? I have tried to run my home through my own strength, and that has led to burnout. It has led to me being easily irritated. It has led to me snapping. It has led to anger, outbursts of anger. It has led to sin. Okay, let's just call it for what it is. Because if I'm trying to do it through my own strength, I'm going to fail every single time. I guarantee it. And you may be like, okay, how do I get the fruits of the Spirit? Well, we know that the fruits of the Spirit come from the Holy Spirit. And soaking in the presence of the Lord will equip us with the fruits that we need. So before the day starts, before the house opens, before everything is chaos, I need my what? My quiet time. I need it. And I'm in a season now where my kids are sleeping through the night, and there's really no excuse for me to not wake up 20, 30 minutes before I usually do, just so I can soak with God and have that uninterrupted time with God. You may be in a different season. You may be freshly postpartum. You may have little ones who aren't sleeping through the night. Even if it is just 10 minutes of quiet, take that 10 minutes, soak with God. Maybe you're just sitting with God. You don't even have to say a word, but open up your heart and say, Lord, I'm here, I'm listening, I'm present, and I need you. Something I've learned on this journey and walk with Christ is that my most intimate prayers are the ones where I'm not coming with this long script and all of this power and I'm casting out stuff. And there's a time and a place for that, but it's literally when I'm like, Lord, if you don't help me, Jesus, Lord. Y'all don't understand the amount of times I have crawled my way into my closet and been like, Jesus, Lord, please hear me and send the angels right now because I am fighting. But every single time I do that, he comes through for me. So running your home through the fruits of the Spirit opposed to your flesh is not only going to help you, but help everyone in your home. Because let's be real, as women, we do dictate the mood of our home. I know that if I'm in a bad mood, I'm not going to want to be engaging with everyone. I'm not going to be happy-go-lucky, and other people are going to feel that. And as women of God, we have to be mature enough in our faith to be like, Lord, yes, I'm feeling these things, but I'm not going to allow these things to dictate how my day goes and how my household is run. So Lord, equip me with your fruit. Help me to speak out of love, peace, patience, self-control. And then if you do speak out of something that is of the flesh, you've got to take that captive and be like, Lord, that wasn't of you, and submit it under God and be like, help me with this thing, Lord. Help me with my attitude. Help me with whatever it is, so that way you can come back into where you're supposed to be, which is walking in the fullness of the fruits of the Spirit. Now, number 2, this is something my husband and I have recently been doing for the past couple of months, and it has radically shifted the way that our home is run, and that is our Sunday sync meetings. Ecclesiastes 4:9 says, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. Now, as women, we do carry a lot, especially when it comes to the mental load of our family. I mean, appointments, payment due dates, future plans, present plans, and everything in between. We're constantly thinking of all that. And I felt like that was leading to a lot of my irritation in my home, because I felt like I was sometimes on a ship alone. So instead of holding that in, I invited my husband into that space, and we have our Sunday sync meetings. It's nothing crazy. It's 30 minutes where we sit down with each other in a place where we're both focused, looking at each other. It's not when we're both scrolling and we're like, hey, you want to have our Sunday sync? It's a very intentional meeting. We sit down, we go over what do plans look like for that week when it comes to appointments, when it comes to our workload and our capacity. Maybe my husband has a really heavy work week and I have to step up in a few areas, or maybe I have a really heavy work week and I need that support from him. We would only know if we communicated that, right? You get me? Okay. And we also talk about things like our finances. What did our finances look like this week? This is something we've recently been doing, and girl, I be like, Lord, you want me to be a good steward over everything. And he recently was speaking to me specifically about finances and making sure that we're aware of what's going on and having dominion over our finances. The Lord has called us to have dominion over everything. So if you feel like your finances are overwhelming you and you feel like you're alone on that boat, invite someone. Maybe you're not married. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's an accountability partner where you're like, hey, every Sunday, can we just have 30 minutes together where we can both go over our week, where we can both go over our financial goals, where we can both go over maybe our physical goals. There is power in community, and there's also power in rhythms and habits. So every Sunday, we're going to be doing this to some capacity. Maybe it may not be us in our house. Maybe if we're traveling, it's, we take 30 minutes away from everyone and we're like, hey, we got to get this done. But it's important to be really disciplined in this at first, because it's going to create that rhythm and that habit for your household. I like to look at it like this, right? Like, I take running a business very serious. So it's like, why would I not take running my home very serious? When in a sense, I feel like my home also is like a business. There are certain shifts that have to happen in our home. There are certain roles that people have to take on. Like, look at your home like a business. I feel like that just made it so much more helpful. Like, my home opens up at a certain time, closes at a certain time. We have certain inventory in our home. Sometimes we run out of inventory and we have to go restock on the inventory. We have to do audits of our home. What are we spending the most time on? We have to do audits of our finances. I'm like, our home is actually a business. And I feel like a lot of people don't look at it like that. So it's very kind of like lax, and you can kind of just go with the flow. And yes, in a sense, right? Like, there's a freedom to do that. But for me, since I stay home and I'm a stay at home mom, best believe we gonna have some order up in this house. So all that goes to say, Sunday sync meetings have been a blessing for my household. I feel like this flows perfectly into tip number 3, which is to embrace roles, not rigidity. Philippians 2:4 says, each of you should look not only to your own interest, but also to the interest of others. The roles in our home aren't necessarily about like old school gender roles. They're more so about clarity and teamwork. Like, for example, in our home, I lead all homeschooling and dinners, and my husband takes on the task of lunches and then the post homeschool and bedtime routine. And this is just what works for us. Things may look different in your home, but I'm just giving you an example of like how this works. And I feel like when you embrace your roles, whether you're the man or the woman, it allows you to serve without resentment. Because here's the reality of us women. We can be doing a whole lot, and we're saying it's just because, because I'm a godly woman, I'm a Proverbs 31 woman, so I'm doing all of these things. But in your heart is cussing out so many people because you have so many things that you're doing, that you're showing up for. You feel like you're drowning. You feel like nobody's there to support you, but you won't say that because you're a woman of God. I think there's power in allowing people into that space and being like, hey, I want to show up in all these areas, but I just can't right now. Can you support me in this? And me and my husband have had so many conversations about this. We've had conversations where I've had to step down from certain roles and he's had to step up in certain roles, and vice versa. I've had to step up in certain roles. He's had to step down in certain roles, but it all comes back to communication. And I feel like when you have a clear guide of like, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is what I'm responsible for, it allows you to steward it better because you're not all over the place. If there's no communication and everyone is doing everything, I just feel like you're setting your household up for failure because everyone is working super hard and they're not working, I guess you could say they're working harder and not smarter. And if someone has a strength, allow them to play into that strength, and you can also play into your strengths. Like for me and my husband, I'm a numbers girl. I love to look at finances. I love to look at numbers. I love to calculate and add things up. My husband, not so much, but my husband's a great leader at the overall goal and vision of our family. I'm really not that great of a leader of people, of like a group of people. My husband is great at galvanizing people, encouraging people, and in some capacities I am, but I'm more so like, I love the one-on-ones. I love to encourage like a person. I'm like, when we start getting big groups, I don't know about all that. But that is totally my husband. So he plays into his strengths and I play into my strengths, and it just creates peace and harmony in our household. All right, tip number 4, one of my favorites and something that the Lord definitely has spoken to me and my husband about this year, and that is to live a life of discipleship. You already know where I'm going. Matthew 28:19, go out and make disciples of all nations, especially in the younger generation, my generation. We for sure have a problem with authority, and I think it's because of our independent nature, where we think we can do it all on our own. We can hustle and get to the top on our own, no matter who we have to step on or step over. Like, all that matters is success, and that is a lie from the world. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. You need people, you need community, but most importantly, you need elders and people who are wiser than you. You shouldn't be the wisest person in your circle. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. And that's why having a church home is important. I know that we've fallen into the culture of like, I don't do church, I just have my time with God, and that's just not biblical. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. That's not biblical to not have a church home. And there's a difference between like, I'm searching, I'm looking, I'm trying to find a church home, than having a heart posture that's just like, no, I don't need no church home, I can do battle by myself. No, you need a church community, and you need elders, and you need people who are willing to disciple you, especially if you have children and you're trying to disciple your children. It's hard to disciple when you've never been discipled. And that doesn't mean you have to be spending every single day with your like mentor or your discipler. It means that you have someone you can call up whenever you're struggling, whenever you just need some advice, and they're there for you and they can give you sound biblical advice and wisdom. I think this is something that is so downplayed in this community, and it's heartbreaking, which is why we have so many people who are relying on their own strength, who are having to fail over and over and over again because they've never gotten spiritual mentorship and have never actually submitted to any spiritual authority. Like, I don't know that much. I've been a Christian for like 5 years. There have been people who have walked this journey out for 50 years. I think I can learn something from them, and so can you. Okay, hopping into tip number 5, another thing that I have learned this year, and that is to outsource strategically and steward intentionally. Proverbs 31:27 says, she watches over the affairs of her household. Y'all know I love me some Proverbs 31. I love Proverbs 31 because everyone skips over this verse where it says, she rises while it's still night and provides food for her household and portions for her what? Female servants. Hello. What's that mean? That means I can strategically outsource things. Oh, thank you so much, Lord, for that liberty. And here's where the balance comes in, right? I got convicted on, and this is my personal conviction, I will not put this on anyone because I do not know your current situation. I can only speak for myself. The Lord worked on me when it came to daycare, because he said at the end of the day, whoever is spending the most time with your children is discipling your children. So that is not something that I am willing to outsource. Laundry? Oh, best believe I'm about to outsource some laundry. Monthly deep cleaning of my house? I will be outsourcing the monthly deep cleaning. Someone to come and detail my car? Oh, thank you so much, because I am so Cash App ready. Like, please. There are certain things where you definitely have the liberty, and if you can, and if you have the resources, or maybe it comes down to community. Maybe you and your homegirl alternate, like every week. Maybe she takes your car to get clean. I don't know what your business is, but all I do know is that outsourcing is so helpful when it comes to those things that just consume a lot of time. Time is also a resource, and if I can get my time back by delegating it and then pouring that time into things that truly matter, I feel like it's a win-win for my household. I feel less exhausted and spread thin, and I'm able to focus on the things that truly matter and bring fruit to my home, which is my children and my husband. All right, the next tip is something that has been so sweet for my family, and I don't know, I just feel like this is something they're always going to remember. So tip number 6 is establish family rhythms that last. Some may call it rhythms, some may call it traditions, some may call it liturgies, whatever you want to call it. But I know that Deuteronomy 6:6-7 says, these commandments I give you, impress them on your children. And I'm paraphrasing, but impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk. I feel like every family needs anchor points, those things that are just unique to their family, and always remind them, like, I'm part of this family. I'm part of the Graves family. And for us, it is family dinners, but also this thing we do during family dinners, which is called roses and thorns. It's something super cute that also like opens everyone up about their day. Specifically Genesis. Genesis always has a lot to say when it comes to her rose, which is something good that happened throughout the day, and then her thorn, which is something not so great. Usually her rose is something along the lines of like some ice cream she ate, maybe a walk she went on, maybe something that happened during school. And then her thorn, 90% of the time, is gonna be nap time. She'll always say, when I cry during nap time, because she fights naps every single day. But it's something super cute, and I feel like it just grounds us, and it's something that even when other people come over, we do, and they just know us from that. So I think it's super cute, and I feel like you should always find something along those lines that helps to ground your family and create like a family tradition or a family rhythm. And then for our last tip, it's something I have talked about in my last 3 videos, so I'm not gonna go on a crazy rant like I did last time, but I will say this for our last tip: rest together and receive the gift of a Sabbath. Rest is not lazy, it is quite literally holy, and resting together as a family is so important. If just one person is Sabbathing and another person is working, it does not create unity in the household. I feel like it has to be a conversation. If you guys are going to Sabbath, you Sabbath together. It will be so much more fruitful if you rest together. My children, every single Sabbath, we explain to them why we Sabbath, what the Sabbath means, and why we honor it. And we also embrace it. We make it fun. Like, we look forward to Sabbath. Sabbath is when we spend the most time with our friends. Sabbath is when we eat the best food of the entire week. And Sabbath is when we connect with each other. It's not about legalism. It is not about laws. It is quite literally about walking in God's grace and his love for us, that he gifted us with one day of complete rest. So I'm gonna keep it short, but I'm always gonna reiterate to rest and Sabbath with your family just one day of the week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to let me know in the comments down below, and I would love to hear from y'all. Please let us know, what are some things in your home that help y'all to thrive, that create a fruitful home? Like, we need all of the knowledge. That's what I want to use this platform and this community for, is quite literally for us to pour into each other. I am so honored to have all of y'all here, and I'm so grateful, and I just know that God is getting the glory out of all this. So please, women of God, pour out the wisdom onto us. We are so ready to receive. But thank you so much for tuning into this video. Make sure to hit my bell, like I said, so you're notified on all of my weekly posts. And until next time, I'll see you later, girl. Bye.